So everybody, we back. Episode 7, not 8,
Seven already.
7. And so pretty much we want to kind of just piggyback off of the previous video topic of, setting boundaries. Because I did what I said I wanted to do, right? I did go ahead and set my boundaries and state what I needed. And it came out to be a positive thing, a good thing. It was received well and progress took place. And I did it twice. I did it before the video. I kind of had a interaction. And then after the video, I had another interaction with somebody else. And so those two interactions really turned out positive, where I feel like it kind of, one was really like this, and then, but it still panned out well after. It's a much smoother situation now. And then the second one was a lot smoother initially during the conversation, and now things is even better. So I think setting boundaries and stating what I needed and really helped in helping the relationship get better, because I believe in following your gut, like that little voice, the little voice that says, whispers to you and say, hey, do this or do that, or don't do this or don't do that. And sometimes you follow it, and you initially the reaction may not be a good thing. Like, oh no, that wasn't a good thing. But if you wait it out, you'll see the results of it is good. And so I had a good results from the boundary setting, and that goes into timing. It kind of goes together. Like, I think if I didn't do the things or the conversations or the interactions when I did it, it may not have panned out the way that it did. And so timing is a major factor in one's life. Time controls everything. Time is a part of every aspect of our life. We're always moving with time. And so there's a time for everything. And so if we want to accomplish certain things, we have to jump on that wave that catches that, it's like a wave of time. And if we could jump on it at the right moment, we can utilize it to our benefit. And that's in everything. Now, will we always get everything, get every wave, every aspect of our life? No, it's probably impossible. But we can get many. And those many waves can be many successes, even when they don't appear to be initially. And so I just wanted to kind of share that, to encourage everybody to go ahead and follow your spirit, follow your gut, that little voice inside, and also set boundaries. And if you do all those things, you do those two things with the right timing, you're going to have a good result. Even if it may not appear to be a good result initially, it will end in a good result. So I just wanted to share that.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. It's like, as far as, listening to your gut, I almost feel like when we don't do that, things start going in reverse. And then we're like, whoa, how did I get here? Well, I mean, it's quite simple. When you wanted to act, did you act? When you wanted to have a conversation, did you have a conversation? When you felt a certain way, did you acknowledge it? It's almost like if you don't, you're going against the, what I like to call it, the internal compass that's trying to maybe not like guide you, but it's telling you should do this. Like, there's a reason why we have that. I feel like we don't have that just because it's like, oh, do this. No, let me just go left. No, but I'm telling you, if you go right, whatever you're thinking is going to happen is probably going to happen. But then maybe you don't go left, you just don't do anything, which is even worse. So I'm a firm believer in that. And like you said, when you follow your gut and don't let things like settle or fester, I mean, even if it comes to a communication aspect, there's a certain way to go about things. You know, you can't just like that. Probably won't do anything. It'll make things worse. But you know, you definitely want to get what's off your chest per se in a particular situation. But I mean, there's a right and a wrong way to do something, especially if there's human beings involved. So
right. And I want to emphasize, I know I may sound a little vague. It's because it's a little personal, right? And so, of course, I don't mind sharing my personal experiences and victories. However, this is the whole. It's open to the whole venue of space and time, and so of course, I'll share this in a more private uh, space. But just to get deep into it would be unwise, right? In my personal opinion. But I'm saying the lesson though is once we go ahead and we assert ourselves, and it doesn't have to be disrespectful, even though some may take your being assertive as disrespect, because some people can't handle that, right? But as long as you assert yourself and you know you did it out of in a respectful manner and articulate, able to clearly state your boundaries and how you feel, then positivity will come from that, right? Something good will come of it, even if the person doesn't receive it well. The end result will be good for you. And I've seen it over and over again. Sometimes, like A said, sometimes we apprehensive, so we freeze, right? There's a difference between freezing and waiting to see what may or may not happen or what one may or may not come up with, right? So it's a good practice to, if you're unsure, wait and see. But it's unwise to do nothing. And so waiting and seeing is not doing nothing. It's just waiting for an opportunity, waiting for the right time to do something, waiting for the right idea or plan to come about. But it's not inactivity. And so inactivity will make you stagnant, right? And stagnant water is full of bacteria, and all these things that can make you sick. And that's the same thing in life. When one is stagnant, one becomes like diseased. So stagnation is never good. And so assert yourself with others when you feel like they're violating a boundary or violating one of your personal rules. And then you will see results. And even if they leave, even if they walk away, that's good. That's a good thing, because that's one less person you have to disassociate with. They will do it for you. And so that's pretty much, but I'm being vague because I want to not divulge too much of the situation, because I don't want it out there, at least not right now. Maybe in the future, I'll put it out there for everybody to hear. But until then, of course, we can have a more private conversational type of thing in the very near future about certain aspects that we speak about, and even this particular topic. But timing, boundary setting, following your gut, that's like some of the most important things that one can actually get in tune with when it comes to maneuvering their life. And they'll open a lot of doors. A lot of doors become open.
I had so many thoughts with literally everything that you were just saying. It was like, no, wait, that. And the reason why, like we said in our first episode per se. Like, we're not just on here just to have a conversation so someone can view it. Lewis and I have a lot of very important things going on in our lives. No, we're speaking about stuff that people need to hear, that's probably on a lot of people's mind, and that can create positive change so we can move forward. And as I'm listening to what you're saying, Sylvester Stallone, the top of last year, he recorded this video, speaking something along the sense on his Instagram of, what's the one thing that you think you have a lot of that you probably don't value? And he's like, time. And he's breaking down time. Like, when we're younger, we think we have so much runway. And we were just speaking about it. If you think you have so much runway, you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're 40 or whatever. And 15, right, like that. 15 years will, in a snap of a finger. So the reason why it's paramount to, if you need to voice something, to voice it. If something's on your mind, say it. It's because, like, time is not going to wait for you. You addressing whatever you had to address at that moment, you don't know what that could lead to. But not doing anything, you look back, and then I feel like sometimes we end up like in a stupor, or we feel a certain way. Speaking for me, myself, when I was younger, I used to always have these moments where I'm like in a state of melancholy, or wondering, like, why does this keep happening to me? And this keeps happening to me. Or, like, more importantly, like, why do I feel like this? I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But then as the years progressed, I realized it was because, excuse my language, there's so much shit you want to say and you're not saying anything. And it's not benefiting anyone. It's staying in here. And you're making yourself more compressed. It's like you're aging yourself slowly but quicker. I know that probably sounds like it doesn't make sense, but it's like you're speeding up the aging process because, like Lewis was saying, as human beings, when you connect the dots, when you share what you need to share, and then you do it timely, like, it causes a ripple effects, in my opinion, of positive things. But when you don't do that, in actuality, you're stagnant because you're not doing anything. You're hoping something changes, when the fact of the matter is, if something is going to change, it starts with you. So I'm sharing all this because when you do these things, like, it you don't have those moments where you're wondering, like, why do I feel like, because in the moments where you don't feel good, like, something right isn't happening. And a lot of times it might very well be like self-inflicted. Maybe it's not that severe, but it could be, you wanted to voice something and you never did. So, and like Sylvester Stallone was saying, you think you have all this time and all this runway when, as much as I don't want to bring it up, but I'm just going to say it really brief, for lack of better words. Look at 2020. I mean, need we say more? And then that's that. But
2020 is two almost 3 years past us already,
and that's crazy. So hopefully it makes sense. It's like you think you have runway, but you really don't have that much. Like, you don't have that. 10 years will, Lewis and I will tell you, and it's not like we're the only human beings here. So we're like, oh, we're the only ones that have 10. No, absolutely not. It's just that, timing is everything. And if something needs to be expressed, or if you need to say something, or I don't know, you're at a job and you're in a meeting and you're like, I want to say it. Say it. I promise you, after the meeting's over, no one's gonna go, oh yeah, Abad said this, and we thought that was outlandish. People aren't. I promise you, people aren't thinking about that. Just like
for like, you're right, for a not stellar comment, no one's gonna remember it. Past 15 minutes. After the meeting, go have lunch. No one's gonna remember your non-stellar comment. But if you make a stellar comment, it's going to be remembered long after. So the benefits outweigh the risks of taking the opportunities most of the time, you know, or setting that boundary or making that statement or saying what you have to say. The benefit outweighs the risk. And sometimes the fear is bigger than the actual event, right? The fear of it in your psyche is grander and larger than the actual event of doing it. I used to be like that. I used to be afraid of giving the wrong answers in school. I was afraid to raise my hand and give the wrong answer. So what started happening was the teacher would call on me. I wouldn't want to answer. So I'll be like, and it point to me, and then I'd have to say something. And 90% of the time it was the right answer. Right. So after a while, I had to gain confidence in myself that I can give right answers. And I think that applies for other aspects of our life. Don't invalidate yourself, right? Validate yourself. And even if it's not perfect, the non-perfection will be forgotten. But the stellar or the amazing things that you say and do will be remembered. So, that's I think is I think that may sum it all up, and I know sometimes people are looking for, like I said in the last video, people are looking for the lights and the booms and the bams and the oohs and the ahs, but it's the simple. And I remember, I want to say one thing, which it applies to what I just said. I remember many years ago, I don't know what you want to call many, but let's say 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I started to journal. I'd walk around a little book and a pen, and I would always just jot down thoughts that I would have that I felt like should be remembered. And I would also write down like a little experience that I had that I thought was interesting. I would write it down so I wouldn't forget it, or I wouldn't forget the details, right? And two things. One is irrelevant to this, but it's relevant to the journaling. I just think it's interesting. And one is relevant to this. So one day I was working security and I'm walking up and down the mall was external. So I'm walking up and down, and yeah, I was in my early 20s. So this is over 15 years ago. And so this guy comes up to me, he goes, Hey, come here. There's a gorilla walking around in a man's suit, but no one realizes he's a gorilla because he shaved before his fur, but he has on a suit like he's a man and walking on two legs, and he's in this building, and it was like an office building. He pointed to the building, like, come. And then he says, come, look. And he walked me closer to the entrance of the building, and the door was open. Had like a double doors, and they were wide open. And it was hot outside, but warm. So you could feel the cool air coming from the AC from the inside of the building. And he was like, see, you could smell the gorilla. You could smell it, see? And so I said, let me sniff. And I sniffed. And you know what I smelled, bro? I smelled the damn gorilla. But I smelled the smell of a gorilla, but it wasn't a gorilla. You know what it was? You know what smells similar to a gorilla? New carpeting. Brand new carpeting has like a I don't know, like an odor, or like a musk, you know. And what they did was they had just recarpeted the whole building. It's so the smell of like this new carpety smell was like coming out of the building. And I had to understand, this was one of my first realizations of interaction with someone with mental health issues. And this man was actually suffering from schizophrenia, actually drug-induced, meth-induced schizophrenia. And so his mind wasn't thinking straight anymore. So when he smelled this odor, his mind thought gorilla, and then he created this scenario of a gorilla walking around with a suit on, so his mind just started to go with it. Instead of just saying, I smell carpeting, right? But I say that this, I bring up that because it's funny, and I wrote that journal. I wrote it down in this little notebook. Where's that notebook now? I don't know, but I did find it years later, and I was reading. I'm like, oh, and I saw what I wrote, and I'm like, now it's permanently, the details is permanently here. But what I also wrote in that book, which applies to what we said, what I just said about the glitz and the lights, I wrote something in my heart. Something came to my heart, and I wrote something to this effect. It's not. It's. I said it's not the. I'm paraphrasing it, but it's not the big things. It's not the hard things, the harsh things that makes something special. It's the subtleness of things that makes things special. And the truth of the matter is that's how it really is. Like when I recollect on my life and I recollect of the things that really matter, it's the real quiet things that make me smile, that make me feel warmth in my heart. It's not no big thing. It's not like remembering uh some amazing event, like something that was like, oh, boom, 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 or a party or something. What I remember is like the times with my family, that was like t- technically quiet and calm and just beautiful. Um, Times with my loved ones, times with my friends who, some who have passed away. Those are the moments that make me smile and recollect. And I was like, man, I was like 21, and that was pretty good things. The subtle things is what really, really leaves an impact. And so I do hope that we reach more people and they realize that uh, all those lights and, oh, you can become rich in 6 months. I can help you get 100K in 2 months. Those things, we're not going to say those things. We're not gonna say that. We're gonna say the things that are a little bit more subtle, but it's gonna give you results that's gonna make you really put you in a better place, and you're gonna be happier because of it. Um, and so I brought that all up just to bring up to support that. We may not say a lot of like bam 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 stuff, but our stuff it works. We've experimented, and so be patient with it. And that's a reoccurring theme that I've been educated with for the past 6 years or something like that. It's patience, right? Patience makes you better. Patience makes you stronger. Patience gets the job done. Patience make things happen. Patience bring positivity to your life. And I'm continuously learning that, right? I thought I was a patient person before, and I'm learning to even be more patient. And so, yeah, be patient. Take our subtle lessons, our subtle stories, um, and put it into practice, and you'll see it work, and you're gonna be like, this stuff really works. Um, yeah, yeah. And of course, we're gonna have other topics. We're gonna talk about other things too. We're gonna talk about other experiences that we've had, other experiences that we're things that we're going to journey to, you know, uh, we're gonna talk about my life in Hawaii when I lived there for some time. Uh, Talk about my trips, that I've made, and talk about A's adventures and the experiences he had that were freaking hilarious looking back. But of course, at that moment, they were like, "Bro, what's going on?" But looking back, we laugh at it now. And so we're gonna talk about all those things, which are all part of the lessons of life that we've experimented with, and hopefully, it gives you all a little bit of motivation, or hopefully, give you a lot of motivation to keep pushing forward. Because that's all we can do is push forward. That's what not being stagnant is about. Is keep pushing forward. And so that's pretty much it for me. Hey, I don't really have much else to say. Uh, if you got anything else to say, bro, please, you know, let it, bestow us with it.
I mean, I realized too, something good is being said, take heed to it. So literally the whole time we're all here together, but I'm like, but that's our conversations anyway. It seems like the theme is definitely follow your heart. If you feel
Right.
like you need to do something, do it, and don't stay stagnant, because I don't want to get too deep, but time is something that it certainly doesn't wait for you. It
Right.
keeps moving, and if you don't take heed to it, it's almost like you put yourself in a position to not capitalize on opportunities that's just kind of like waiting for you. It's like, for people who pray or things of that nature, I've come to realize too, the stuff that you like pray for, a lot of times it's like happening. It's not going to be, hey, remember me? You prayed for this. No, but it will be in your face.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be in your face right there, letting you know, hey, by the way, this that you wanted right here is actually right here, but you need to do this step to get it.
Right.
Or maybe you just need to, I heard a successful person say a long time ago, pay attention. That's like, okay, that makes sense. Pay attention. No, what it means is like really pay attention to everything that's going on around you. So when you think about what you're asking for and then you see that thing right there, you go, okay, let me go do this quickly because I can tell what I want is getting closer as long as I'm paying attention to everything around me. So, don't let things fester. Definitely don't stay stagnant. If you want to do something, even if you're unsure, or if you, I don't know, like feel afraid or apprehensive, go with your gut and do it anyway. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. When you do whatever that is, you're going to tell yourself, I was making a big deal out of nothing. And a lot of times we really
Mm-hmm.
are.
Yep. Yeah,
So I got.
definitely. Definitely. Like you said, bro, remind me of a house party. I think it's house party 2 or 3, when he went to college. Kid went to college, and the dean was like, "Time waits for no man.
I
Time waits for
remember
no man." So when you said that, time waits for no one. It reminds me of that, and that was a true fact. Kid had to pay the tuition before a certain date, or he would have to get kicked out of school. And so he was pretty much telling him, "Listen, you have till this time. That time is not going to wait for you. You better, when that time comes, you better be prepared." And so it's just, hey, you're totally right. Uh, everything that we all have, it was once a desire.
Mm,
Right? It was once something we wanted, and then we did whatever we had to do to get it, and now it's in our face. And most of us don't even pay attention from the simplest things, like, I want pizza, and then you go buy pizza and you eat it. When you're buying it and eating it and consumed it and it's gone, you're not even by the time you done got up to buy it, you stop thinking about step one to step two. You done forgot about it. That means you've done lost appreciation for that pizza already. And that's what happens too in a lot of other bigger, more grander events. Oh, I want a car. By the time most people get the car, they're not even like really grateful. They just like, I got a car, cool. And that's about it. But they're not even like, man, I'm really grateful for this. Now, I'm not saying everybody. I'm not even saying most, but I'm saying there's quite a bit of people that just, between the desire or the need and then acquiring it, there's a loss right there. There's a disconnection, right? And so what we're saying, I believe you were saying, is pay attention to that gap, that space. And if you pay attention to that, you can see how you got from that place to that place. And that means you could attain other goals in a similar fashion.
right.
Okay, you desire to be a business owner. Then you got to go, what business do you want to own? Then you think about the steps to owning that business. And then you can actually go from desire to, eventually you'll see the business coming. Oh, snap, it's right here. I just got to do these 5 more steps and I can acquire it. And so, yeah, yeah. And that also happens within a span of time. It can happen within a year. It can happen within 10 years. It all depends on you. It all depends on a person, right? It could take you a 1 year to get that business, or it could take you 10 years or 20 years. And you're like, you wasted 19 years. You wasted 19 years, you know? So I agree with you, A. Definitely, definitely. I know I'm guilty of that same thing. I'm guilty of it. You know what I mean? I'm guilty of paying attention sometimes. For real, you know. So yes, hey, great piece you added at the end there. Of course, I was supposed to put the number at the bottom. The last video, I forgot. I will do my best to do it this video. And if I can, go back and put it in the other videos or at the bottom. So yes, thank you guys. Yeah, thank you. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, and you'll see us again soon. Peace.